Welcome back to Casting Confidential for our third season. I'm your host, Rose Rosen, and we've got such an exciting season ahead for you, filled with amazing guests, from top celebrities to some of the best casting directors in the business. Plus, we have a special surprise waiting for you at the end of each episode, so make sure you listen all the way through. I know you're gonna love it. Before we dive in, let's take a moment to thank our incredible sponsors who make this show possible: Casting Networks and Write Positive Films. Their support helps us bring you the very best of the casting world every week. Looking to land your next big role? Casting Networks is where more high-quality roles are booked than any other casting service. With an annual membership, you'll unlock every tool you need to stand out. Unlimited headshots and reels, submission tracking, even the chance to link your socials and showcase your personal brand. On the go, the Casting Network's iOS app makes it easy to find and submit to roles anytime, anywhere. Right now, Casting Confidential listeners get $65 off an annual membership. Just use code CONFIDENTIAL at checkout or try it free for 14 days. Head to castingNetworks.com/confidential and get ready to get noticed. But hurry, this offer won't last long. I want to tell you about something that's truly changing the game for working actors. Shamika Wright, yes, a working actress and filmmaker with over 20 years of experience, is now offering exclusive one-on-one coaching through Write Positive Films. And let me tell you, this isn't your average actor coaching. This is real-world audition to booking strategy, personal to you, and led by someone who actually gets what it takes. If you're getting callbacks but not bookings, are you ready to own your next role? This is your next right move. Head to writepositive.com/book-online. That's WRIGHT positive.com/book-online and get ready to strengthen your acting skills in an authentic, empowering, and intentional way today. You'll thank yourself later, and maybe me too. Hey, actors, need a reader but don't have anyone around, or maybe your friend's on the way and you want to get a head start and run it a few times on your own? Check out Raffi, the app that scans your sides, lets you pick from over 60 voices to read with, and has an optional teleprompter built right in. It works in multiple languages, and there's a web version too if you prefer using your computer. Whether you're rehearsing, memorizing, or recording a self-tape, Raffi gives you the flexibility to do it all on your own time. Try it now at raffi.app. That's RAFY.app. And check the show notes for a 10% discount code. You'll thank me later. And with that, let's jump right into today's show.
Let's go.
Welcome back to Casting Confidential. I'm your host, Rose Rosen, and today's episode is such a special one. First, my co-host for this conversation is the esteemed casting director, Robin Carus. Hey, Robin. Robin has cast everything from theater to film to commercials. And fun fact, she actually cast today's guest in a concert and cast recording of the musical Session Girls. Robin, so great as always to have you here.
Thank you, thank you. And I am very excited that Jeff wanted to do this and be with us today. So thank you.
And now for our guest. He's Emmy nominated for his moving performance as Joel on HBO's Somebody Somewhere. He grew up in Texas, worked briefly as a social worker until, as he writes in his book, I realized I was too chatty to be a therapist and too disorganized to be a social worker. After that, he moved to New York City. He improvised for free for 20 plus years, booking the occasional commercial or guest star role until his mid-40s, when he landed the role that changed everything. He's also the author of the memoir, actress of a certain age, my 20-year trail to overnight success. Please welcome the one, the only, Jeff Hiller.
The one, the only.
The one, the only. I mean, that's it. From social worker to Emmy nominee, that's you. It's a long trail in between. But I mean, I've been listening to your book and it's wonderful.
Yeah.
And I think what resonated with me and what everybody in the audience, because our audience is mainly actors, let's face it. But
So am I.
yeah, exactly. Your story is so relatable. It is this long journey, and you have this moment and you're enjoying it. And that's what I'm seeing now.
Yeah.
And I love it. What do you how does it feel to you? What does this Emmy nomination mean to you?
Uh, I mean, the Emmy nomination is so exciting. It's kind of just a cherry on top of this delicious sundae, which is that like I can make a living just from acting now, which is a huge deal. I have health insurance and I get to do things that are interesting and I love them. And so that part is kind of the win for me. It's not like I think now I'm talented and that's why I got nominated for an award. You know what I mean? It's more like now I have access and people can see me and I knew I could do something good and I love that I was able to be on a show that would allow that. So,
I will say that I have always thought that throughout the entirety of your career that I have been able to see and witness, I always think, "Oh my god, how enjoyable is it?" Like, look, when you get to know Jeff, it's a gift, but I think that when I watch him on stage, because that's where I met him, it was not on screen, it was on stage, and that's, theater was where our medium was that we met.
right.
And so, but when I watch what you do and how you create, to me, I'm like, oh my God, evil genius mind. Like it's crazy. Like you do all of the crazy fun things that people are like, he really just do that? Is that really just the tape?
Yeah, you got to stand out, right?
That's it. That's it. So tell me a little bit about the mechanics. Like, like how did you get the role? Did you change agents? Like you say you have access now. Do you have 10 projects lined up? Give us the nitty-gritty for those wanting to be right in your shoes.
Well, I think a lot of us think like, if I could just get on a TV show, then I'd be rich and everything would be fine.
Right.
And once people see me on one TV show, they'll put me on 1,000 different TV shows, and it doesn't quite work like that. There's still a lot of uh, uh, there's still a lot of things that you have to take into account. Like after season 3 of Somebody Somewhere was wrapped, I was like, oh no, I don't have enough money to pay to qualify for health insurance. And then I just happened to get a guest star on Will Trent. God bless Will Trent.
Oh
And
my God, right? It's a
yeah,
huge deal.
yeah. And so yeah, but I think yeah, there is the way I got the role was I just auditioned. And it was pre-pandemic, but it was a self-tape because they were casting, I live in New York and they were casting sort of wide net LA, New York, because we shot in Chicago, so they auditioned in Chicago too. And I knew Bridget Everett, who is the star of the show, but I didn't I always say I had her email, but I didn't have her phone number, if that gives you any
Okay.
indication of our relationship.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. I have a lot. Like,
yeah, yeah, exactly, right. And I mean, not like we were enemies or anything, but just like we weren't that close. And so she emailed me and said, "Would you be willing to audition for my HBO pilot?" And I was like, I guess I guess I'll take a break from temping to maybe film a pilot. And of course, like I audition for anything. I just did a self-tape last week. I'll audition for anything. I like auditioning. And so myself on tape. And when I read the pilot, I was like, I could play this. But we all we all do that. And there are a lot of other roles that I was like, oh, I could play this. I know this that I didn't get. And every once in a while they'll be like, oh, I'll never get this. And then I get it. But I did know this character very well. And so I auditioned. My husband was my reader, and we did it in my living room.
I love that. So you still live in New York
I still live in New York. Yeah.
and you love self-taping. Let's talk about that. You love audition the
I love
whole
auditioning. Self-taping,
okay.
I prefer being. Somebody was just saying that I just met a casting director yesterday who said she's been doing some Zoom sessions, and I thought, oh, that
Oh, wait, you froze. Oh, no.
because there's like benefits. Get all sweaty and sit in the waiting room with a bunch of other people dressed exactly like you and feeling like intimidated. But what I really miss is the interaction with casting directors. There are a couple casting directors that I've met where I'm like, oh, I've auditioned for you a lot. I've never met you before, um, because they just started in 2020 or whatever. Um, so I miss that, and I miss the adjustments because I'm really good at taking a note. And when I am given one, I can usually give you what you want. But if I haven't gotten that note, I might not be able to give you what you want.
Curious about, your relationship with casting directors because, obviously, like in TV land, you know, you're more apt to interact with folks from Los Angeles, whereas New York, it's all the theater folk. And I'm curious, like, if there are those along your journey that you really say, I'm so glad that they were there at this moment, because I think that people very often forget that we need each other, casting directors need amazing talent, talent needs casting, it's not it's a circle, it's not a straight line, and I think that people kind of forget that relationship is so super important.
Yeah,
We love to
completely. And yeah, and acting is an art, and so that's subjective. So it's not like, I mean, like, there Meryl Streep is the subjectivity around her is pretty broad that she's good, right? But there's some weirdos who don't like Meryl Streep. So I think you kind of tend to find the casting directors that get your vibe and like your vibe.
Yeah,
And usually they work with directors who also like your vibe and get your vibe. And
yeah.
so, because casting is an art too, obviously. And
thank you.
you're welcome. And thank you.
We try so hard to scream that to the rooftops, so thank you for saying it.
Yeah. And so and that means that a painter might only work in oil paints, or
Right.
another might only do, realism versus abstract. And so I think I tend to gravitate towards the casting directors who like, yeah, what you said, like, I'll go a little weird, I'll do a little strange, like, any casting director who in the audition is like, pull it back. I'm like, oh, I'm not for you. I get it. I get it. I'm not for you. I'm sorry. Um, because I'm never going to be cast as just like the normal person. That's just
I don't buy that. I think you earlier said you take a good note, and I think never say never, and I could easily see you as the normal guy.
well, I guess so. I I mean, this is sort of an interesting discussion maybe with casting directors, but I do think, like, as actors, these are the tools we have to work with. Like, what I look like, I can only play people who look like what I look like. I mean, unless, like, you're really
There's
famous and they make a
hair and
fake
makeup and
nose or something.
yeah,
But yeah, but I think what I look like is, and people get uncomfortable when I say this, but I'm not trying to, I'm not sad about it. It's just, this is my toolbox, and my face is a little weird. It's not average. And so I'm fine with playing people who aren't. I actually like playing people who aren't average. And I feel like if I got a role that was just like the guy and he's nice, I don't think I would I
But
don't
you
think I
did
would
that. You
do
just
it.
did that. I
I
saw
just
that.
said it.
I just,
All
I
right,
just
let's do it. Let's cast it. The romantic lead.
I'm just saying you can be normal.
No, I can be normal, and I did a lot of commercials over the years where you have to be like, I know how to like make sure that I can act in a way that, highlights the product and doesn't distract from whatever. And I've been in plays where I know like at this point I really need to be completely still because the focus is across the stage and the audience needs to see that. So I get that. Like I can give focus and stuff like that. Maybe it's that I'm not interested in playing the normal person.
I think your fun is really that quirk,
Right.
which
Yeah.
is fine. It's it's your moneymaker.
I just think typecasting does a disservice to the whole process. So
Sure.
yeah, I'm calling you in for normal guy. That's just what's happening.
I
Great.
I I think that what I love though, I'll say this for the character guy, right? So for that for the guy that has made his career out of quirk and fun and and whether it's the guy that makes fun of himself or the guy that makes fun of others or is just the center of fun, all any of those three. But I think that what's also really interesting, and I think we're seeing this more in scripts, is also for that character man who every now and again has to play something very serious and very against type. And that's also like a really fun, I think it's a fun creative exploration, and I don't know if you've had, if that's something that you're like, well, if that came down the pike for me, yes, and if if that's something that you're like, if the script is good, rock and roll, let's do it.
Oh,
That's it.
absolutely.
You don't have to
Absolutely.
be the murderer. You could be the cop.
Sure. I mean, listen, I'll play any of those things. I guess I think we as actors tend to be like, and maybe it's like a self-preservation technique and maybe it's not healthy, but I think we as actors tend to
No.
be like, I know my lane. You do those casting workshops when you're 22 and people are like, I see you as librarian. You know what I mean? You do that thing.
I have
And
so much to say about those workshops. I just feel like and we could talk a little bit about this because I feel like like I said, it does a disservice to the process. It makes you all feel like this is just my lane, and it limits you in your head. And I don't think that's the place to be. I really don't. I think, like the word castability is thrown around. I like, what are you talking about? This is crazy. What do you think?
well, I appreciate you saying that. I'll tell you, I went to an EPA when I was first in New York. I was going to all sorts of EPAs. I went to this EPA for this show called Daddy Long Legs. Do you remember this,
Oh,
Robin?
An
okay. Yes,
equity
yes.
principal audition. I learned this from Robin. So
Oh,
our
right. This is
listeners,
a theater thing. Yeah, this is
that's
a theater thing.
Broadway stuff. Go ahead.
Mhm. And I just wanted to get as many auditions under my belt because I just wanted to know what it was like to be in the room and things like that. And I went to this EPA, and they were giving out sides. You didn't have to do a monologue, and it said like pick the role you think you would be most like, and I chose the villain, and I thought it was really interesting, and I went in and I told her who I'd be reading for, and before I even started reading, she said, "Did you read the breakdowns of this role? You need to know who you are. You
I
will never be
oh,
cast in this,
it's
and you're wasting your time and my time."
I
Now,
give up.
she was probably like an assistant or something like that.
Yeah.
And because she was quite young, she was like my age. But I think I was mortified and hurt, and I also felt like, well, maybe she has a point. Maybe I am 25 years old, and I do look like, I'm kind of made out of mayonnaise. Like, maybe they will
Oh,
cast me in the villain part. And so, I mean, I will point to American Horror Story where I played a serial killer, but whatever.
Really.
Um, but uh, I think that young actors, we're just always looking for our in.
No,
And
exactly. That's
Yeah.
the whole thing. And I just don't love when they come at you guys and they're saying, you can never, you
yeah,
don't do it that way. Just only ever do it this way. It's like, no.
right.
I just want to say to the young actors, don't listen to these people. Don't, because that it's just not true because you're actors. You gotta play it.
But you don't think that
It's
it's
the way-
important to know what you do well, what you
Sure.
really excel at?
I think that you should always know what you do well because obviously, let's face it, when you're putting together lists of people for your directors and producers, and you're like, these are either people we can invite in, or these are folks that, we can make a straight offer to, like for sure, 100%. I think that the great fun also, and when you have the time, is to see how expansive an actor
Mm,
can get.
right.
And that is fun, because it's for I I wish that people had um, some people had the imagination where they can say, "Wait, what's Jeff's take on X role?" You know what I mean? Like that would be really interesting to see his spin on what that would be. And it may not be what you had in your head, but let's see what he does because we know what he's capable of doing. We know that you have an improv background. We know that like on the fly you will make choices, and that is super fun, and let's face it, when you're in an audition process, whether you're the casting director or the actor who's auditioning, it's really about like us kind of seeing the choices that are being made, or maybe directing you towards something else and seeing what your spin is, and how you get to
Yeah,
from point A to point B. That's it.
right. But yeah, but also that's because I've been acting for 20 something years. So,
Yeah.
you know, I have a well here and there, but I guess like when you're just out of
When
graduate
you're
school or whatever,
And
not
I
as
think that when you're young, it's always harder, and I think it's also harder because in a sense, you are learning yourself, and you are learning also how are you when you are in the room, and now it's how are you when you are in the Zoom, or, you know, but but it really is like, how am I? How am I with this person, and oh, you have a story.
Oh, I have a question
Yes.
because I was thinking for you as casting directors, it must be so hard when you're casting for like someone young or something who like if somebody started acting in 2020, you might never have met them, even if they have a resume, you know? And I just think like so much of when I was auditioning starting out, so much of what the audition was for me was being like walking into the room and being like, I'm not crazy. You can spend 8 hours a day with me in a rehearsal room, and I'm not gonna drive you insane. You can put me next to a famous person on a television show, and I'm not gonna weird them out
Oh,
and make
that's a
you have to
huge
I
fire me.
one.
Yeah, and I'm wondering how you can do that when you don't have that human interaction outside of, just the audition.
Well, we hone our skills.
Yeah, yeah,
We've changed our skills to match what, you know, figuring people out quickly. It's the same thing, honestly, on a screen versus in a room. It's not
and I
exactly the same, but close.
mm,
and I'll say that for me, personally, and my style is always like, let me see how I can know the world, right? And so I actually do try and have as many like side conversations.
Right.
Like, if I'm dealing with an agent,
Yes.
I always tell the agent the actor can reach out to me if there are questions.
mm,
And so because then I get to have the interaction with them that I didn't have in the room, or
mm,
that and even as they're kind of like even if as they're asking questions about the character that they're about to put on tape, like then they know that they're talking to like a real person and it's a real project and that's it. I mean,
Yeah. I delve into more with the agent. I like, is this guy crazy or what? What's the story? And you think they wouldn't tell me, but
yeah.
the surprising thing is they do.
Hmm.
I know you think they're just in it for the money. They're just going to sell you guys, but they'll say, wait. last
Wow.
week, and that's how I work. I've always worked that way, right? Talk to the agent because the agent knows their talent, and there are some things that they're better at than others.
And you know how I'll tell you this too, Jeff. You know, like there are certain times in our tenure, where we haven't seen an actor in a really long time, and we don't know if their skill set has changed, or there are things they will not do anymore, or they won't do. And you sort of have to kind of like kind of figure out how you can ask all the questions like the right way to get the answers for your team that they need. And so it's kind of like, okay, like for example, you're working on a musical. Like I'm working on a musical right now. I had
Mhm.
to know if an actor had a certain skill set that I remember him to once have. And and if it was something that he felt comfortable with, and in this case he did, I sent him the music, but you really have to like make sure
Right.
that everything's a go, and that all is comfortable. And it doesn't make a difference if it's something theatrical or if it's something on camera. You sometimes have to be reminded or kind of reacquaint yourself with who the actor is that you know of or know. So
Mm. Yeah,
Love it.
interesting.
Like, is that interesting? All right, tell
Well, yeah,
us.
now I'm like, did my agent say I'm an
I mean, probably not. Oh, wait. So I wanted to roll that back. So is your agent still a New York agent? Do you have a Los Angeles agent? Did you change your agent after you got big and famous? What went on here? I want to know about.
Well, I was with an agency in New York, and I didn't really have any what do you call it?
Connection?
I mean, they had an office in LA, but nobody in LA repped me. I didn't have anyone in LA that talked
mhm.
to me. And so when
Okay.
I got the show, they were like, yeah, here. And then I got a manager, and then my manager said, "Hey, this agency casts film and TV, and it also casts theater, but it doesn't have a voiceover department. It doesn't have a commercial department. It doesn't have a lit department. It doesn't have
Um,
because it was a very small boutique agency, and so I did change then, to one basically just one that had more stuff.
that's interesting. Yeah, because you're a writer
Yeah,
and all the things. So it does make sense.
right.
Yeah.
And I will say, after the first season of Somebody Somewhere came out, people would take me I mean, I wanted a manager before or somebody somewhere, but nobody wanted to take a meeting with me before Somebody Somewhere. And so once that came out, I was able to take meetings with multiple management companies. And then when they wanted me to get a new agent, I took meetings with multiple agencies. And it was
Wow.
like, I cannot believe these people are like fighting for me because uh, for most of my
Interested.
career, it was like, let me please you. And now what I hope from this Emmy nomination, like, we were still a super small show. And I hope these two Emmy nominations put more eyeballs on the show, and I hope that it means things. But like, people always ask, like, what made you choose to do this role? And I've never chosen a role because of what it is. I've
Got to pay the
I've been
bills.
chosen, and that's why I do it. And I would love to get to a point where I have multiple options and
Right.
can choose the one that speaks to me the most.
A very privileged spot to be in. It's
Hugely, hugely.
very rare air.
I
You're
know.
I'm
yeah,
I'm
and
curious
and you can get there without a doubt.
Sure.
I'm curious if, like along the journey with somebody somewhere, how much input you then started to have over your character. Like is there any autonomy with like, hey, maybe it's a little more like this as opposed to this, Like do you have that, or is that not a thing?
I guess, I mean, I definitely could have had a discussion with them.
Mhm.
That's I mean, but the writers are so talented that I was always like, "Oh, yes, exactly. Yes." You know what I mean? It was never like, I think you're off here."
Yeah.
But I think I think I did this SAG panel, where with some other Emmy nominees, and they were saying like what's important, and they were like a director that understands actors and talks to actors and blah, blah. And I was just thinking to myself like, um, I I have this role, Somebody Somewhere, and then the roles that have followed since
Yeah.
was really the first time that I got to talk about the character and understand the character and have thoughts on the character and be, have discussions where they're telling me their thoughts and things like that. Because before that, this the supporting actor Emmy should be going to like the co-star who walks in and says a line of exposition and hits their mark and and doesn't have the look of extreme fear in their eyes
Yeah.
and is able to do that job while they're on a set where a famous person is talking to the director and taking up a lot of the oxygen in the room, and they are, being quiet and trying not to get fired, and are still able to produce what needs to be produced for the story and exposition and I just have so much respect for that.
Yes. Yeah.
And when
And
I was on Somebody Somewhere, I mean, sometimes the co-stars would be exhausted with how much I would talk to them because I just wanted to be like, I know how hard it is to be on a set for one day and to be referred to as your number on the call sheet instead of by your name,
uh,
and to be in your little weird closet trailer for 4 hours, then come out for 10 minutes, and then you're gone. And I wanted to make sure people felt seen because I felt so often unseen. And I think that that's important, and I think those actors who are working on the front lines deserve some accolades too.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I completely agree.
I got on a
I was
soapbox.
supporting.
I got on a soapbox, Rose. I'm sorry.
No, I like the soapbox. We have to have a supporting actor Emmy category.
Yeah, for like the real hard work, the tiny little part.
I get it. It's I mean, we always talk about what a grind it is, how difficult the job of being an actor is. People literally come at me every single day. I want to be an actor. People have told me I'm talented. And like, well, that's not going to get you a job. It's just not, it's just like any job. People have told me I'm talented at whatever, at being a brain surgeon, but I don't have any training. Nobody's
Yeah.
going to want you to surgery on their brain, right? I mean, not that acting is brain surgery, but it's the same. A job is a job and you need skills. And yeah, no, I appreciate you saying all that. I think it's meaningful. And I appreciate you actually uh writing it back to the agents and managers and actually interviewing so many of them. I think that's interesting because a lot of people, even when they get to a certain position, they're like, "Oh, well, Gersh called me. That's it." You know what I mean?
Not
They
that
just
Gersh didn't call me, but yeah.
yeah.
But yes,
Okay, but whatever.
and I get that. I get that. Like, because for so long, it's like if one is interested, that's kind of it's but it's that whole thing. It's just like what I was saying, where it's like you think if I get on a TV show, it'll all be fine, but you also think if I just had an agent, then it would all work, or if I had a reel, then I would get tons of work, and it never ends. It's always hard work to get work.
And the Emmy doesn't do it either. We've talked
Mm.
with Emmy award-winning actors here on this very show. And, my joke to him that day was, well, it doesn't come with $100 million check, does it? Nope. He works still every day, Just
Yeah.
and you're still hoping to land another role that'll get you another Emmy or an Oscar or a
Or
paycheck.
just that fulfills you as an artist. Yeah.
All of
Or a
that,
paycheck. Our paycheck would be good too.
Exactly, exactly. So you're staying in New York, you're not moving to Los Angeles.
No, I'm married, and he's a New Yorker. Let's just say that.
Do you so you spend a lot of time in LA just in a hotel room, or what goes on?
You just felt like flying out.
Yeah, exactly. I don't normally spend much time in LA, but I had an event here for stuff for the Emmy stuff, and then I'm taking some meetings,
Taking some meetings. Oh my god.
i.e., some general auditions where
Love
just like,
that.
hi, I'd like to work.
Oh my god, I have to put you in touch with somebody. Talk to me after the show. Um, I
Great.
just thought of somebody that'd be perfect for you to talk to. But that's how we work, isn't it? It's just this little community and we just talk just like any other business, right?
Yeah, yeah, and I will say that most of the jobs I've gotten have been from connections where people, know me and know what I can do, and it's like what Robin was saying, where it's like, "Oh, I know you from your well, that you might be interested in this," and that's I mean, I think it's very rare to just audition for something where nobody knows you and then get it. It it takes a lot of it's networking and a
Right.
lot of getting to know people
And
and
we have
making
this
sure that you're
internal casting confidential thing where we like to use our the people who come on the show. Oh, what
oh,
can we do with him?
great. I'm all for that too.
Exactly, exactly. Secretly, people don't realize this, but casting directors kind of pass actors around, like an hors d'oeuvre.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
It
No, it's
well,
true. Yeah, you could, like we'll talk and say, "Oh, I need this. Do you have anybody like that?" "Oh, yeah, 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 I know this guy." You didn't see, you don't realize these things, right?
Yeah, but it makes sense. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
It's just, it's like a carpenter. Do you have a piece of wood? I mean, not calling humans wood. I'm not saying that because that sounded terrible. I give up.
yeah, I think though there's this thing where, okay, you know, you're you're casting something, somebody is wonderful, but they're not right. And that
Mm,
happens too. So much. And so, but then, you keep this sort of, I'll call it a stockpile of folks that if you could put them into a session again, or if you could even work with them, like here's the list of folks, and sometimes, or because the memory only holds so many people in it, then when somebody comes back into your orb, you're like, "Yeah, yes, oh yes," and that you're delighted by by the memory of that person, and I think a lot of times I will get people who say, "Wait, how did you know me?" And it was sort of like, "Oh, I know you because you sent in this at this point and you don't remember, but I did. And so now you're here. Hello." And I
mm.
and I think that when you're able to kind of have that discovery or rediscovery of a person, it's amazing. And so, or even for the person that every now and again that you had a really amazing relationship with, and then they out of the blue kind of say, "Hello, here I am." Then you're like, "Oh my goodness, okay, you're a good surprise. Hello." And that's what we do. And I think that what Rose was saying about the idea of like passing the actors, I think that there are groups of, not
I
all,
called them hors d'oeuvres, Robin.
sorry, hors d'oeuvres.
Also would.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. So,
Carpenter was a loving wood.
okay, this is I was going to make a lovely earnest point, and now,
And now
okay,
what?
I don't know. Now hors d'oeuvres. Anyway, no, but I think that it's, I think that the nice thing about communities are that even amongst casting directors, I think that there are communities of us. And the idea that, when somebody says to, like your friends in the chat, like, "Hey, I'm casting this," and you're like, "By the way, did you think of da, da, da?" You know what I mean?
Oh,
And
yeah.
and
Mm,
and so mostly or if a friend hears that you're casting something, I think that Rose and I get suggestions all the time from our
Yeah.
circle. It's like,
Yeah.
did you think of so and so? Because if you don't know them, you should know them. And I think that's actually quite nice because it just means that like it just sort of means that the community is sort of like making sure that everybody stays afloat, you know?
And it
COVID
helps
brought
you too.
casting closer. It really did. We used to be much more competitive. Now we're more cooperative.
Oh,
And
interesting.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and because we're all over the place. So it's easy to trade information and not be scared of your competition. It just seems like that was a horrible way to be, and now we're better. That's what
Mm.
I think.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. But tell me what's next for Jeff Hiller after you win your Oscar.
Oh.
This is going past the Emmy.
Yeah, all right. Um, you know, uh, I don't have anything lined up, so I'm just full of
And
hope and keep on keeping on, you know?
Well, you've got some book signings coming up and that sort of thing. You've got your
Uh,
book.
yeah, yeah, I just wrote this book about it's kind of just about me. It's not just about acting, but it is a lot about acting too.
That was a lot
And
about you. Yeah, but the stories are funny.
yes.
Um, uh,
And I do stand up, so I'm going to continue to do stand up and
oh, I
yeah,
love that.
yeah.
I mean, let's just say I can't remember hearing the term disco nap for many years. I used to go to New York and go shopping all day, then take the disco nap, and then go out to the discos back in the day. So,
Yeah.
but I really appreciated that you used that term in your book.
Oh, I did? I didn't even remember it, gosh.
You
I
did.
love it.
Yeah, yeah. Go use the AI to go find it. I heard that. I'm like, disco nap. Did he really say that? It just gets you refreshed for the evening, doesn't it?
It definitely does. Listen, I like a disco nap for sure. Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, it's been a minute since I've been to a disco as well. A disco. Do they call them discos? Do they
I
still
don't
call them
think they call
discos?
them discos anymore.
Are you sure? I love a disco.
I like
See, now
um,
now we could see him playing an old woman.
no.
Now that I could play. That I could play.
Oh my gosh.
She'd be real big though. She'd be real big.
I'm curious in your journey, right? Because I I think that any of us that are crazy enough to get into this profession, um, it doesn't make a difference on what side of the camera or stage you're on. But I'm so curious because obviously it's all about the persistence. And if I'm not mistaken, you even talk about that in your book. And
Mhm.
I'm curious for you, like your perspective, because I actually think that it would be very inspirational for people. Like what's the thing that keeps you going? Like what are your times where you throw in the towel and you're like, "Oh, wait, I'm retrieving it back. Nope, nope, nope."
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are, I actually have complete respect for people who are like, this isn't for me. I'm moving on. I think that's so smart because you need to know you know? And there are a lot of sacrifices that come with trying to become an artist, you know? I, I, I have friends who own homes and have washers and dryers, you know? I don't know that. Yeah, I mean, and it's if you have kids and your life changes in that sort of way, it's like really hard to continue doing this. And so I respect for the people that have said like I'm just gonna not do that. But I also think that I mean, like Rose, when you were saying the thing about like people come to you and be like, I'm talented. People say I should be an actor. Like, and sometimes people will come to me and
That's
ask
the
for
good
acting
tone,
advice.
exactly.
Yeah, and it's like if you don't, You know that old saying, which I often heard people say it, and I was a little like, what does that even mean? When they would say, like, if you can do anything else, do it. But I think that there's truth to that. Like, the only way you will make it, unless you're like, whatever, a nepo baby, or have some sort of crazy access that the average actor doesn't have. I think the only way you'll do it is if you are just passionate about this and kind of only this,
Mhm.
and this is the thing that you want more than. So like, there, when I turned 40, I had a moment where I was like, this is not going to work. I'm temping. I'm embarrassed that I you know I've had sort of minor successes here and there that meant a lot to me, but there's still so much insecurity about finances, and whether or not I will work again. And there were times when I would go for a year and I'd realize I haven't worked in a year. And then when you would work, you'd get, a job on Community, and you'd be like, I got a job on Community. I worked a day, one day on Community. And it becomes, it's a huge win, but it's also like, in the grand scheme of things, you start to think like, maybe this isn't right for me. But even when I would say like, maybe I should give up, I never took any concrete steps to actually give up. I never called my agent and said I'm giving up. I always say, like, I never cleaned out the nerd drag in my closet, because for commercials, you always have to dress like a nerd. And I never put away my ring light. The ring light was still there. And so I think I just would never, because I also started as a social worker, and it was so um not fulfilling, that I knew, if that was, because that's basically the only other job I think I could maybe do. And I was so unhappy doing it that I thought, I can't go back to that unhappiness, because this one, at least there's the hope of happiness in the future. Hope, I think, is it. Hope. That was sort of a bummer of a way to say it. Grit.
Well,
Grit.
let's focus on the fact that you ended with the hope.
Good.
And
Okay,
with the
good.
hope.
Hope.
Right, we're with the hope,
Yeah.
but and but also in that, what I heard is hope will not get you work. Work gets you work. Keep auditioning. Keep doing, doing, doing. Keep your ring light handy so that you can do your auditions. You've got your little headsets there because you knew we'd be talking today. You know, it's keep everything sharp, right? And
And say yes to opportunities, because even if this reading of this play, if you look at that play and it's not great, but it's just Thursday night, you might meet someone at that reading of that play that might lead to a play that is good.
Yeah.
And also, you might be wrong. Sometimes I've read a play and then I hear the play and I'm like, this is actually good. So I think saying yes was my big thing that I always did.
I that is huge. I mean, I often think about when I first read Edward Scissorhands, how I didn't even understand it. It was so few words.
Yeah,
Because if you think about it, Edward says little to nothing.
right. It's very visual.
Yeah, it's very visual. So I'm reading it, and I'm quite young and quite pregnant, and I'm like, I don't get this, but obviously I'm gonna say yes. It's not even a question. But
Right.
but I admittedly did not understand that script. But I think a lot of yeah, I think until things are, we can't always understand things. And I do think what you said, saying yes to stuff that doesn't necessarily look right. If somebody's asking you, maybe you don't know that it is right. Maybe
Right,
you're wrong.
exactly. Right, and I mean, like, don't, like, miss your sister's wedding to do a reading of a bad play, but I think if you're just gonna be sitting at home on a Thursday, you might as well go do that.
Yep.
Are you still doing improv? Are you still taking classes? What do you
I am a member of this thing called the Actors Center in New York, where they
Mhm.
do offer classes, so, that's where I continue to work out the acting muscles, and then, yeah, I do improv when I can. I've been doing it less just because there's less time.
I
Right.
wanna I wanna see your stand-up, Jeff. I've never seen your stand-up.
Gotta
Oh,
go
it's
do
fun.
that.
It's
Yeah.
fun. I mean, the book is like all of my old stand-up in the book.
Mhm.
That's why there's lots of jokes.
It's the greatest. It's the greatest. All right. Any final thoughts from you two? Anything you want to telegraph out to our acting community? Hopes for the future, whatever. What do you got?
Do you have anything, Robin?
Nothing?
I would say I would say that a lot of times when I was coming up, uh, I would spend so much of my time comparing my journey to other people's journey and being like, oh, I'm 30 and I know that, you know, the cast of Friends got it when they were X years old, or now I'm 35 and whatever. And when I turned 40, I had this like meltdown because I knew that Megan Mullally and Nick Offerman got their sitcoms when they were 39. And I was like, well, that was the last opportunity. And all of that is such complete dookie.
Bunk.
Your journey is your journey, and it doesn't do you any good to compare yourself. And even now, where I'm like, I'm still struggling to not compare myself to other people because, you know,
Well,
y it just feels good.
I'm so glad that you have, I'll call it the hope, and I'm also glad that the journey continues. So it's onward to other great, wonderful things. And so,
Yes.
I mean, because I don't know, we all have to have it, right? So you are definitely super inspirational.
Aw, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Now you know what's coming, Jeff. You've got your script, right?
I do. I just brought it up.
Okay. And we're going to have an actor read a short scene opposite you. Then we'll all give her some feedback and then you guys will do it again. So our listeners can hear what that process sounds like. This is my favorite section of the show. I think it's really fun. And today's actor is especially exciting. Joining us from the UK, where so many of our listeners are tuning in. Yeah, it's the wonderful.
We're very international.
Yes, yes. Um, it's Nanette Hearn Clark. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. Uh,
Nanette, where in the UK are you?
I am down in the West Country, so I am near a quite a large city called Bristol.
Sure.
A couple of hours from London, but kind of going west. Kind of London's east, and I'm the other end.
Amazing, amazing. Well, welcome. And you
You
guys, let's do it. I'm just
could,
gonna watch.
Ready?
could I just say a quick congratulations on your Emmy nomination, Jeff?
Oh, thank you, Nat. It's so great to meet you. Thank you for doing this.
You as well. Thank you. Good morning.
Hi. Sorry I slept in.
Ah, it's okay. It's no problem.
I know you like me to be, what's the phrase? Up and at 'em first thing.
No, 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 no. You're here to rest. So, what can I get you for breakfast?
I'm fine.
Cup of coffee? Tea? The toast?
Yeah, I'm really not hungry.
I'd like you to have something.
Please.
I'm trying.
You're doing great. I'll take some toast.
Sure? You don't have to.
Toast sounds great.
Okay. See, this'll work. We can make this work.
Okay. That was
Mhm.
nice. It was a simple read. Um, Robin, what do you think?
Nanette, tell me what you take away from this chickadee.
That she is she's trying hard to reconcile with this person, to kind of win them back or win them over. And she's vulnerable as well
Mm.
because he's kind of in a bit of a stronger position than her.
Can I add something though?
Yeah.
So, okay, have you ever dealt with somebody very difficult that is, or that could be difficult, and you want it to work so badly that you kind of feel the need to overcompensate and be extra perky?
Okay. Uh-huh.
So that means that instead of being like very like, you can still kind of have that vulnerability and it will always be there. But the idea like, see, everything's great. No problems here. No, it's good. And I would be curious what that does and how it animates you. Because I also think that, look, I think that when we're in these little Zoom boxes, right? I think that you kind of have to make the most of your world, right? And so make the most of the world. That's all there is to it. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Great.
And
Thank you.
Jeff? Well, oh, sorry, Nanette. What?
Oh, no, no, that's great. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, of course. A little feedback from you, Jeff?
Oh, for me? Oh,
No,
no.
for Nanette. So we're giving
Oh,
her
no, yeah, I know, I
pearls of
know.
wisdom.
I know. What I want is your feedback for me and how to make it better for Nanette.
Okay, that'll come next, but all right. Your feedback first.
Oh, I really like the part where you said she's vulnerable too. Because I think that it must be so. I've never been a parent, but I've been an uncle, and when they're in that teen phase, there is that that like I want you to like me again. And I think you played that really beautifully.
So
I like that.
so then I would say to you, Jeff, then how do you acquiesce to the words, you know? And so really it's a give and take with both of you, because I think when you're doing scene work, it's really obviously it's always about how do you quickly form that relationship, right? And how do you kind of function as a team, uh, in addition to your own sense of self and individuality. So
And kind of riffing off all of that, I just want to see a little bit more passion out of the two of you. I want you two connected in a way that feels passionate. That's it.
Okay.
But we are parent and child, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I was pretty passionate with my mom.
Okay, great. All right.
I mean, yeah, not in a weird way.
Not in a weird way.
I was actually just genuinely being like, this is our relationship, right? Yeah, it was great.
All right. No, go ahead.
Okay. Good morning.
Hi. Sorry I slept in.
Oh, no, 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 no. It's okay. It's not a problem.
I know you like me to be, what's the phrase you always say? Up and at 'em first thing.
Oh, no, 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 no. It's okay. It's okay. You need some rest. So, what can I get you for breakfast?
I'm fine.
A cup of coffee, tea, a bit of toast?
I'm really not hungry.
I would really like you to have
You
something.
please. Oh,
I'm trying. I'm really trying.
yeah, you're doing great. I'll take some toast.
You sure? I mean, you don't have to.
Toast sounds good.
Okay. Okay. See? This'll work. We can make this work.
Okay.
Okay, personally, I think my passion note worked. It was still the right appropriateness, but you guys nailed it. I loved it personally. So thanks. I thought it was
Thank you.
great.
I
Thank-
actually think that the The interesting thing about this take was that I could see where the apex of the scene was, and it was really right before you offer the you're doing a really great job. And I almost, it's that it was the exchange of you're doing a like I could see you're doing a really great job. And then there's the shift. And I kind of think that there's something really interesting in that. I didn't see it the first time. And I actually think that if we did it again for a third time, it would probably be even more different, because there's you are I think that, Nanette, you're both beautifully earnest, and you have that wide smile, and I think that it creates that beautiful idea of this mom just trying,
Mm.
and like, I got it," and Jeff was not making your life easy at all,
Mm.
and so, and I think that and look, it's not easy to act inside a box, so, therefore, I don't know, I just kinda feel like the more you have to work on something, there you go. And obviously this is all an acting experiment, but it's one that you did beautifully. So there.
We loved it. We loved it. Jeff, thank you so much for sharing your story, your humor, your wisdom with us today. Congratulations again on your Emmy nomination and on your wonderful book, Actress of a Certain Age, My 20-Year Trail to Overnight Success. And Robin, so great to have you back.
Thank you.
And thank you to our listeners. And if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, review, share, do all the things because it's important to us. Um, Stay tuned because we had in upcoming weeks on the podcast, we have TJ Wilkes talking with Cheryl Loudon Cuban about vertical videos. Fascinating conversation. And we're going to end the season with Sherry Appleby. And we're going to talk all about acting and directing and producing. And that'll take us into season 4 next year. So stay tuned. I hope you guys everybody follow Jeff at Boom Boom Hiller on Instagram. Follow Robin at Robin Carus. And of course, Casting Confidential at Casting Confidential. And I'm Rose Rosen at Rose Rosen Casting. And you guys, we will see you next time on Casting Confidential. Thanks so much. And Nanette, you did great. We appreciate you. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week. That's a wrap on today's episode of Casting Confidential. If you're loving the show, here's what you need to do. Follow us right now on your favorite podcast app so you never miss an episode. And if you're feeling inspired, take a minute to leave us a rating and review. It's the best way to help us grow and keep bringing you these behind-the-scenes stories. Join the conversation with us on Instagram at Casting Confidential and drop us your thoughts or questions. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep your craft sharp and your audition sharper. See you back here for another episode of Casting Confidential.
One of the greatest podcasts in television and film with Rose Rosen, CSA, and all the friends. Bringing you Casting Confidential. Casting, that's essential. Casting, so eventful. Kind of tune in and close friends, chilling with Rose. We call it Casting Confidential. Get a notepad ready, grab a pen and pencil for magic to jot down. Tell a friend too. A wonderful podcast in TV and film. We call it Casting Confidential. Let's go.